Hey, you! You train people?
Yeah, once those orcs, or even worse, the dragons attack again, every single hand will be needed.
Can you train me too?
Sure. I'll train any good man. But besides your talent, you need a good weapon if you want to survive here. Ask the knight Tandor. He'll take care of you.
He didn't get that from me.
What about long-range combat?
What about it?
Can you teach me that too?
No, but you can ask Udar. He's the best crossbowman I know.
It can't go on like this forever. It's been known a long time. Some don't even know how wicked they are.
I heard that you are the best crossbowman far and wide.
If they say so, it must be true. What do you want?
Teach me how to shoot a crossbow.
Scram! There are enough targets running around outside the castle. Practice on them.
I am the greatest.
You're all right. Well, if you want to learn, then I'll help you.
My master shall destroy you. Your pathetic parlor magic cannot save you.
Hey, you're finally back. You have to go see Zardus right away. There's a problem.
That I certainly believe.
All hell's broken loose since you left. Talk to Zardus. He's waiting for you. Zardus gave me this rune for you. It'll help you get to him faster. We'll meet again there.
Hey, you! I'm back from the Valley of Mines.
High time, too. What did you see?
You were right. The land's been overrun by an entire army of the enemy. Orcs are besieging the castle, and dragons have laid whole areas to waste. It won't be long before they attack Khorinis, if I'm not mistaken. Lester said you wanted to see me at once. What the hell has happened here in the meantime?
The enemy has learned who you really are, and that you're planning to get hold of the Eye of Innos. He has recognized the threat. It has forced him to leave his cover and openly attack. The game of hide and seek is over. Yesterday, nobody knew what the enemy's attack would look like. Now it has become only too obvious.
I finally got the proof that Lord Hagen demanded of me.
What proof is that?
I received a letter from Garand, the commander of the Paladins in the Valley of Mines. In it, he asks for reinforcements.
That should be enough to convince that militant warhorse. Well done.
I was attacked by magicians in black robes.
The enemy has many faces. The Seekers are one of them. They're really the ones who prepare the ground for the enemy. They have taken up their positions in strategic places and are now only waiting for an opportunity to spring the trap. Stay out of their way. They are very powerful magical beings, and they will try to deter you at any cost.
What will be the next step now?
Go and bring Lord Hagen the letter from Garand, so that he may grant you access to the Eye of Innos. Then go to the monastery and talk to Pyrokar. He must give you the eye. Nothing is more important than getting this artifact away to safety. Go now before it's too late. The enemy will also try to lay his hands on it.
get you. We shall get you. We shall get you. We shall get you. shall destroy you. Your pathetic parlor magic cannot save you.
See. I never knew that. You mustn't believe everything you hear. Things I could tell you.
Someone's gotta pay for that.
It was his decision, wasn't it?
I bring you news from Garand. Here, he gave me this message for you.
Our situation is worse than I had feared, but report to me on the situation in the Valley of Mines.
The Paladins are holed up in the castle in the Valley of Mines, surrounded by orcs. There were many casualties in the prospecting operations, and there's barely any ore left. Well, I should say that without any help, the lads are lost. That's how it looks.
I shall find a way to rescue this expedition. You have done much for us. Innos will thank you.
I'm not all that interested in his gratitude. I want his eye.
Yes, of course, I stand by my word. Take this letter. It will open the monastery gates to you. Speak with Pyrokar, the highest fire magician, and show him this authorization. He will grant you access to the Eye of Innos. One more thing before you go. Take this rune as a token of my gratitude. It will take you safely back to the city whenever you want.
How's the situation?
I must find a way to rescue this expedition. We must do something against the dragons. Perhaps the Eye of Innos can save us all now.
I couldn't get away with that.
Will it ever change?
I'm not touching that. Nobody will learn anything from me.
Good thing you're here. You need to help me.
What is this about?
A lot of things have changed since I left here. I have to get back on my feet somehow.
What's the problem?
I have to get into the upper quarter, but I'm not a citizen of the town, and I don't have enough money to bribe the guards. That's where you come in.
So you want me to lend you some gold?
Nonsense. I've got some gold. A whole lot of gold, even. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me. You need to go fetch my gold for me.
Okay, I'll help you.
Well, listen. Back when the barrier was still in place, I hid a small treasure. It's been quite a while. That's why I forgot to take it with me. And I can't leave here at all at the moment. To cut a long story short, you must go to the Valley of Mines for me and fetch my gold.
That's the first I've heard.
Where's the gold hidden?
Directly at the trading square, above the abandoned mine. It's in a leather satchel. Spare yourself that comment. I know myself that we must have walked right past it. Just bring me the bag. But don't forget to check that it's the right one, so you don't walk all that way for nothing.
How can I recognize it?
It's full of gold. A whole lot of gold.
You hardly know who to believe these days.
I'll try to find your gold.
Just do it. That's enough for me.
hardly know who to believe these days.
You didn't get that from me.
But no, he insisted he knew better.
There you are again.
I've got a few skins for you.
Wolf skin, that's good. A warg skin? Those beasts are tough. Good work. Come see me again when you have more.
Show me your wares.
He never would have thought of that himself.
That's the first I've heard of it.
I'm no better off myself.
Don't say you didn't know that.
He doesn't see that. I can't help it.
Nobody ever asked for my opinion.
That was obvious all along.
Nobody ever asked for my opinion.
Is it really true?
You didn't get that from me.
Nobody will learn anything from me.
I got my own opinion about that.
Nothing surprises me anymore.
It was just like you said.
That was obvious all along.
Show me your wares.
And Innos, in his wisdom, did so.
These are bad times. That's not what my husband thinks.
Who says things like
You're a
that?
convict from the mining colony. Scram.
And it's gonna get even worse.
You're a
Not
convict
what
from
I
the
heard.
mining colony. Scram.
He simply talks too much. That's what I've always said.
But that's terrible. Don't tell this to anyone.
I can't take care of everything for
Oh,
everybody.
here you are again.
Why aren't you in jail?
I have been released. As I already told you, I am an influential man in the city. Now word is out among the merchants that you are a convict. A regrettable affair. Now you won't be able to get even a piece of bread here in the marketplace. I could, of course, sort things out for you. Shall we say 500 gold pieces? Have you come to pay?
Really? How interesting. Say.
All right, I'll pay up. You leave me no choice.
Good. Then I shall see to it that your reputation with the merchants rises once again.
If I hadn't seen it, don't tell this.
I've got to go.
Suit yourself.
If I hadn't seen it, it was going to get even worse.
Show me your wares.
He talks too much.
But that's terrible. That's what I've always said.
He can't keep anything. You don't say.
You don't say. These are bad times.
He simply talks too
terrible.
much.
He can't keep anything to himself. Said.
And it's gonna get even worse. That's not what I heard.
That's not what I heard.
Everything all right with you?
Of course. We're all keeping our eyes open. The magicians can rest assured that the prisoner has no chance of escaping.
Everything all right with you?
Of course. We're all keeping our eyes open. The magicians can rest assured that the prisoner has no chance of escaping.
Adonai saw that this way, nothing could exist at all. No light and no darkness. And so he set himself between his brothers in order to reconcile their dispute. And he succeeded. There, where Adonai stood, was a place in which Innos and
Hey, thanks, man. I mean, thank you, really. And there I was, thinking I'd never get out of here.
What are you doing here?
I got locked in. The door was open, and all I wanted to do was have a little look-see. But as soon as I was inside, the guard came and locked the damn door. This is, somewhat embarrassing. I'd be very grateful if it could just remain between you and me.
I understand that wasn't exactly something to be proud of.
I think I need a drink now.
As well as animals, wolves as well as sheep. Last of all arose the human. And Adanos was pleased with what had arisen. He delighted in all the beings equal. But so great was the wrath of Beliar that he came across the land and chose the beast. And Beliar spoke to it, and the beast became his subject. And Beliar gave unto it a portion of his divine power, so that it might destroy the land. But Innos beheld what Beliar had done. And he also bestrode the land and
Hey, you! Show me your wares.
It is an honor to me that a representative of our holy church should show an interest in my wares.
He can't keep anything to himself.
Really, how interesting.
Don't tell this to anyone.
Who says things like that?
I can't take care of everything.
And he works all day, too.
Who says things like that?
You don't say.
unleash the power of the Master. As a magician, you cannot stop us.
Hey, you. I see you belong to the Magician's Monastery.
Yes, why?
Can you use another worker there? I wouldn't know where else to turn.
Where do you come from?
I used to be captain of a big whaler, my boy. The sea is my home. My ship, the good old Magdalena, was sunk by pirates a few months ago, and now I'm stranded here. All I ever wanted was to go back to sea. But since I've come here, Not one schooner is called at this accursed port. The only ship which is anchored in Khorinis is that blasted war galley of the king, and they don't take on anyone. So what else can I do? There's no work for me in town. I've tried everything.
You'd better get off the road.
Don't worry. I've already noticed that the wilderness out here has become damn dangerous in the last couple of days.
How did you get to the monastery so fast?
What kind of a question is that? I crept through the pass and made my way straight to the monastery. Admittedly, it was never easy avoiding all the monsters making themselves at home on this side of the valley, but ultimately I encountered fewer problems than I expected.
Do you know where the others are?
Gorn seems to have coped with his stay in Garon's dungeon very well. In any case, he wanted to go to Lee and see what was happening on the farm. After the grub they serve in the dungeon, he's probably stuffing his face right now and putting the mercenaries' provisions to a real test. Diego mumbled something about a reckoning. No idea what he meant by that. But I suspect he's in the city. You know him, always there when there's something to be had.
Do you know anything about the hooded figures?
No, but I have a bad feeling about those guys. Be careful if you run into them.
Better watch out who you tell that to. That's been known a long time.
I've come from the old Valley of Mines.
What do you have to report?
The enemy has formed up there with an army of orcs and dragons.
We have already learned that from Milton. But what about the king's shipment of ore?
The mine they are digging for Garand in the valley cannot satisfy the demands of the king.
The days are becoming grayer, and the light of the sun is ever weaker.
I was attacked by men in black robes.
I know. Those are the Seekers, henchmen from the nether realms of Beliar. Beware of them. They will try to take possession of you. Once possessed, you will no longer be yourself. Only here in the monastery could you find help then, so be careful. I have asked Karas to look into this matter. He will certainly win some further insight soon, which can make us see clearer. Here, this rune will bring you directly back to the monastery if you need our help. Remember, we must offer resistance, or we shall all be doomed.
I have come to take the Eye of Innos.
I see that you have received an authorization from Lord Hagen himself to bear the Eye of Innos. I am afraid that I have to disappoint you. We have fallen victim to a treacherous plot of the enemy. The Eye of Innos has been violently taken from these sacred walls.
Who could be so impudent, Master?
Evil is cunning, and usually works in secret. Only rarely do you see it emerge to pursue its evil machinations in broad daylight. But these days, it's a different matter. The enemy now shows himself openly in the street, in every home and every public square. This can only mean that he no longer fears any adversary and is not going to shrink back from anything. One of our most faithful followers, a candidate for the high robe of the Magicians of Fire, has changed his allegiance unexpectedly, and in an alarmingly evil manner. Pedro, the enemy has taken possession of him, thus inflicting a terrible defeat upon us. Pedro has forced his way into our most sacred halls and stolen the eye. I fear that he simply spent too much time by himself, outside of the gates, and thus beyond the protective walls of the monastery, exposed to all lurking dangers.
Where did the thief flee to?
Pedro knocked down some of the other novices who tried to stop him and disappeared into the morning mist. Many novices have gone after him to bring the eye back to its place unharmed. If you want to catch up with him, you need to hurry before Pedro disappears out of your reach.
Heal me, Master, for I am possessed.
So be it. Take this potion. It will relieve you of your nightmares. May the mercy of Innos be your salvation. Act on his behalf and beware of the evil eye of the enemy.
Not so fast. I have another task for you.
And that is...
Now that you belong to the Brotherhood of Fire, you must also fulfill the duties that come with being one of us. The Church is not only concerned with the affairs of magic, it is also the final authority in the administration of justice, as you know. The latest case brought before us opens up a bottomless abyss and must be dealt with once and for all.
Isn't that the militia's business?
The militia is responsible for the city alone. This affair has far-reaching consequences.
What's this about?
There is someone in the city who has sold falsified shares in the ore mines of the former penal colony. These papers are utterly worthless and of no importance, really. Still, they have the potential of stirring up trouble among the people, which we cannot afford to happen right now. The swindler is supposed to have approached all of the most reputable traders in the city and the country, and has evidently managed to sell his counterfeit mining shares to some of them. Find this evildoer and bring him before this panel. In such hard times, we must not suffer swindlers and plunderers. We must make an example of him in order to deter the rest of the mob.
I'll try to clear up the matter.
One thing more. When you visit those traders, do not let them know that you are looking for mining shares. I think they probably want to sell them on, and certainly would no longer offer them to you if they realized that you are dealing with them on behalf of the Church. Do you see?
Yes.
Then get to work. I wish you much success, brother.
Is there anything else you want to tell me?
No, not at the moment, brother.
One more little thing. Stay away from the roadside shrines. We have heard that some of them have been desecrated. No one can say what effect they have now. It is not your task to solve this problem. Paladins will take care of this matter.
That's totally obvious. Nothing surprises me anymore. That'll only cause more trouble.
Teach me the third circle of magic.
Yes, the time has come. Enter now the third circle of magic. New spells await you. You will need them, for evil draws nigh, and it can be thwarted only with the power of Innos. I have now taught you all of the circles that I can pass on. Karas will instruct you in the higher circles.
Teach me.
Will it ever change? Who told you that? It's a bad business. Nobody ever asks me.
May Innos protect you.
I can't help him. That'll only cause more trouble. Nobody will remember me.
Hey, brother, you cannot lose any time. You must hunt down Pedro and return the Eye of Innos to the monastery. If the eye is not retrieved, we shall all be lost.
I want to learn the fourth circle of magic.
It is still not finished.
Show me your wares. How are your studies coming along?
I've been able to find out something about the Seekers.
And what would that be?
They are, quite obviously, of demonic origin. But at least they are, or were, under the influence of demons. Be careful if you meet them.
What a novel concept.
I'm sorry, but I don't have enough material to make a more precise statement. But if you could manage to bring me something of theirs to examine.
What kind of material do you need?
What do I know? Any objects which especially belong to these beings.
Do you want me to bring you a corpse?
No. Are you crazy? The dangers posed by a demonic being within the walls of the monastery are much too great. It will be enough if you find some objects which are typical for these beings. The remains of the demonic aura which cling to them should offer enough clues for an examination.
Could the sleeper be involved in this?
I have heard the story of the sleeper, but from a distance I cannot say anything about it. There are countless demons, and any of them could be involved.
I shall see what I can do.
It would certainly be very useful. In the meantime, I will carry out my own personal research.
Hey, you! Teach me. Any news?
Yes. Well, you've probably noticed those black-robed figures.
I've met them.
This brings us to the core of the matter. At the moment, we're observing a very rare constellation of stars. To be more exact, the sign of the ox currently stands in direct correlation with the sign of the warrior. I suppose you know what that means.
Well, to be honest...
Yes, I see. Well, I cannot explain the entire background to you now, but it definitely signifies a great change, and I do not like change. Therefore, I want you to get me a book from town. It's called The Divine Power of the Stars. You may have to rummage around for it a bit, but I'm sure you'll find it.
I'll see whether I can find it.
That's good. It frees up my time so I can follow some other trails as well. But don't take too much time. Time, I'm afraid, is what we have the least of.
Is there anything you can teach me?
I am an expert in the magic of ice and the magic of thunder. I can teach you their power.
That's all just gossip.
Teach me.
As if I don't have enough problems.
That was obvious all along.
That's totally obvious.
Innos enlightens all those who recognize his wisdom.
Who told you that?